And showtime! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. Look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I am executive editor of the ChannelPro Network. I am also a co-host of this program. I am joined this and every week by your other co-host, Eric Simpson, a business transformation and improvement advisor to MSPs and other IT providers. Eric, how goes it?
Feels pretty good this week, Rich. Temperatures are cooling down. It's only 69 degrees here in Southern California. How about where you are?
Rubbing it in, are you? I didn't actually check earlier. I think we're in the upper 40s here, which is not bad. Not complaining. Sun's out, which hasn't been true most of this week. So it's, by our standards here in Seattle, this is practically like Southern California.
Hey, I'd rather be cooler than hotter, so that's good.
All right. Well, you know what? Speaking of hot, Eric, let's talk a little bit about cloud computing, because that's going to be our top story of the week here, is something coming from a cloud distributor, Pax8. Now, folks know that they have been in cloud distribution since their beginning some years back. They have had a portal that all their partners have had free access to, that is where they go in to purchase licensing and manage billing and all that other kind of stuff. And there's integration between their management portal and PSAs on the back end as well. But they went out, they are, like a lot of good vendors, in regular contact with their partners, talking about what are some of the roadblocks you run into, what are some things that maybe keep you from doing more business with your customers, and by extension, more business with us. And one of the things that came up was, there are a lot of management issues beyond what we do with you guys, the licensing and the billing and so on, that can be a real headache. If one of my customers calls up and they need me to add a user, getting the new license is pretty easy with you guys, but then I've got to go into the management portal for that particular software as a service tool, let's say, and I've got to add the user there, and I've got to apply security policies. I've got to go into my PSA system and document that I did all of these things. Multiple interfaces, lots of manual effort, lots of room for human error in there. And so what the Pax8 folks have done is introduce an entirely new tool that they're calling Pax8 Pro, and it, in essence, automates that entire workflow for you. So through one interface, you can go ahead and add the user. You can apply the security policies that you typically use with users for that account, and this can be customized on an account-by-account basis. Everything that you've done will be recorded in the ticket on the PSA side, and it's all sort of automated and orchestrated for you. There is also a checklist feature that comes with the product. So most good MSPs follow a standard procedure that they can record on a checklist every time they do something like add a user to a tool, remove a user from a tool. This will help you both see and keep track of your progress against those checklists. And then there's also some reporting functionality where you can kind of check the health from a security standpoint, for example, of your accounts. Also pull together some data that might be useful in a QBR with your customer in terms of license utilization and that kind of a thing. So it's interesting because this is a product. Like I said, Pax8 has always had a management portal. They still do. That's something they provide to all their partners. This is their first product. This is something that MSPs who want to use it need to purchase. It costs $250 per month per MSP, as many users, as many technicians as you want to put on the tool for that $250 a month. But it's their first kind of solution that they've developed in-house. And it is also the latest entry in something that we have been talking about a lot on the 5-Minute Roundup, it seems, recently, which is just cloud management, the challenges of cloud management and tools from companies like Skykick and Augment and ZeroTech that we have been talking about on the show here that are arriving on the market to help MSPs cope with this issue. And this is one that's very closely related to a particular workflow that surrounds that whole cloud license provisioning kind of process, but it is another entry into that marketplace.
Yeah, Rich, and I understood also that, and this was from I think a partner shared this with me in passing conversation. So check me on this, but I also understood that there to be a capability of So if you have a new user come on board and you've got to provision them to these 5 or 6 different platforms, that could also be managed very, very easily and economically through a process like this through Pax8. And what do you know about that?
So my understanding is that is coming more. So I mean, when they were kind of talking about what's next, maybe for the solution, one of the things they talked about is a lot of MSPs who are selling, say, Microsoft 365, are bundling, a security tool and a BDR tool along with that license, and the ability
Exactly.
to add users to all of those through one workflow is not something I think that they have today, but is something that is on the roadmap and will come down the road. So yeah, that kind of multi-platform orchestration is definitely something that they are planning to deliver.
Yeah, that's winner winner chicken dinner. I mean, when you can provision a group of users from an onboarding perspective, right, as a new MSP client, and just say add these users and then put them through the workflow that provisions all the licensing. Holy cow! And then even better from your conversation on this particular news story, adding a new user sometimes, because that's kind of an add-on. We're not maybe following those checklists or processes, and we're just kind of adding them ad hoc. The ability to, just provision them, and with the roadmap strategy of, oh, well, they're in this bundle of services or they're in this bundle of services, to have the ability and flexibility to automate all of that and relieve, all of that costly labor from doing so is just a game changer. I mean, MSPs just, you know, using those technologies to integrate with these cloud platforms. Again, like you say, I think we're on kind of this wave or trend of developments where, more and more, I think we're seeing the acceleration of this move to support these cloud platforms and integrations in a much more robust and confidence building strategy for MSPs. So if you're out there and are wondering, should you move toward the cloud, as we always say at the end of one of these stories, Rich, what you waiting for? I mean, these vendors are making that path easier for us to move in that direction. So again, ability to support more hybrid environments, ability to support more cloud-centric environments. That's the real value, and bringing those discussions to your clients to help them make those decisions before a competitor gets to them, is highly recommended.
Absolutely. And, the whole cloud management task, for all the reasons that you're kind of outlining there, it's a giant headache for MSPs right now. And it's just been a really interesting thing to watch the vendor community. They have awakened to this fact. I don't think it's new information, but clearly there are a lot of different people who realize how difficult it is to work with these different systems and go into them one by one and perform all these steps manually, and potentially, miss a step, get something wrong, and who knows what the repercussions of that could be. So just watching these tools arrive that are consolidating and streamlining those processes, it's an interesting thing. And I guarantee you, Eric, this is not the last system of this kind that we'll wind up talking about, because I'm sure there's a lot more of this stuff to come.
Yeah, stay tuned. And, not to mention also when it's being managed that way, just the pain that MSPs go through today to make sure that the billing is trued up and all that, and trying to manage all these different licenses stuff. Just, the ability to simplify that and make that easier and make it less of a chore. I mean, I work with partners today, Rich, that, hate invoicing so much that they just put it off until they can't put it off anymore, and are, so behind on invoicing because it's so cumbersome. So, all these improvements, are helpful in these areas as well.
Well, Eric, if I remember right, on our previous episode, you pointed out to folks that it is never too early to start ordering and shipping those holiday gifts to your customers. Your tip of the week this week suggests it is never too early maybe to be scheduling those 2021 QBRs.
That's right, Rich. And hey, what a great way to, have that conversation. Your clients just received your thank you Christmas gift, and you follow up and just, check it in and make sure you got it. Oh yeah, thanks so much. All right. Hey, while I have you, let's go ahead and schedule our Q1 QBR for 2021, please. So yeah, that is the tip of the week this week, Rich. I mean, we've got to make sure that, we're ahead of the game, and we're remaining strategic with our clients, and we're having those discussions now. So before their calendars start, filling up and booking up, let's make sure that we're reaching out and scheduling those QBRs for, January and February. And remember, this is a strategic value add that in some cases is the most valuable service that you can provide to some of your clients, right? And those of us that aren't really consistently delivering QBRs, I did a webinar early today and polled the attendees on the webinar. I said, how many of you are consistently delivering QBRs to your A and B clients? And 43% said they were. So that leaves a big percentage of folks that aren't doing that. So again, I mean, do I have to beat the drum for doing strategic meetings with your clients where you're uncovering additional revenue opportunities that help that client realize their business goals through investments in their technology, and of course, fill your pipeline ahead of every quarter? Team, get on the bus, get on the bus, add value to your clients' relationships, fill the top of your sales pipeline with approved, authorized budget quarterly in advance. So start now and start booking those virtual meetings in January and February. I should stress that. Oh, and by the way, if you want 10 great tips on how to conduct QBRs virtually, just jump onto my website and go into the free resources. I've done a short webinar with my 10 tips on how to do QBRs virtually to get you on your way.
All right, well, definitely check that out. I was talking with somebody just earlier this week, actually, and so the one mistake some MSPs make is they don't do QBRs at all. The other mistake that some of them make, this guy was saying, was they do QBRs regularly with some of their customers, and then there are others where the line is, those guys, everything's going just fine. Twice a year is fine with those guys. Once a year is fine with those guys. Every customer, every quarter. 4 words. Just remember those 4 words. Every customer, every quarter. They will appreciate it. It'll be good for their business. It'll be good for yours as well.
You'll certainly find out who are your A and B clients and who are your C customers, because the ones that will have those meetings, they'll find value in, and the ones that keep putting it off and don't have them, well, where they fall, right? So there you go.
All right. Well, that leaves us with time for just one more story this week, and it comes to us from outer space. Folks, if you were thinking that maybe Baby Yoda has really never made it off of a Hollywood soundstage, it turns out this is not true. Baby Yoda has actually been in outer space. In fact, Baby Yoda is in outer space right now. Because the crew of the latest SpaceX Dragon spacecraft, which is either at or on its way still to the International Space Station, brought Baby Yoda along this time. Live streamed over the internet, all the video evidence is out there, folks. Baby Yoda has made it finally into outer space.
Yeah, it's awesome when you see how they've used it as their zero-G test device. So they know when they're in zero-G when Baby Yoda just, is just floating around in the capsule with the 4 astronauts that are going up to the ISS. So very cool. So another milestone for fans of Star Wars.
And for science, right? Another proud moment for science. But
lest we forget.
Yeah. The video is great. If you find, unfortunately, I would share my screen, but I didn't think to bring it up before we started recording. The video of Baby Yoda floating around inside the spacecraft is actually worth checking out. Well, folks, we are out of time this week for this episode of the 5-Minute Roundup. We do thank you so much for joining us. If you like the show, want to take a look at some episodes that you may have missed in the past, you want to know about the new ones when they become available, go to the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube, become a subscriber. If you click the little bell icon there, you'll get notified every time a new episode becomes available. You want to read more about Pax8 Pro, their new management tool. You want to read about what else is happening in the industry, get great business growth advice for your company. Go to channelpronetwork.com every day, because we have got terrific new content for you there every day. To learn more about Erick and the work he does with his clients, to get that free top 10 list about QBRs, go to ericksimpson.com. That is ERICK Simpson.com. Once again, thank you for joining us this week. We are going to be, actually, we need to talk, Erick. We are going to be back next week because next week is Thanksgiving week, but we will be back soon, one way or the other, with another episode of the 5-Minute Roundup for you. And until then, folks, please enjoy the rest of your week. Erick and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.